My thoughts on IF alignment. Good afternoon, YouTube. Here with you on a Sunday afternoon. It is 4:33 now in the p.m. Oh, that poor girl. You guys always accusing me of using this as clickbait, so I thought I would start out with that. Maybe the image would be a little bit different on the thumbnail, and that way, you know, people won't think it's such clickbait. Okay, I'm sorry. Let's get back to the right picture. We'll go click. All right, that's better. So now that you can see we are back to normal here, I think what we're going to do is take a look at some alignment things here. Now, like I said, this is not a rant. This is not directed at any one person at all. I've been watching a lot of people aligning receivers, or AM receivers primarily, and using procedures that, while correct, are to me not necessary. The whole thing about it is this: if we take a look at the image on the thing now, we can see this is how an AM transmitter gets its information to the radio receiver. It goes through a transmitting tower over the air, through the waves, the radio waves, the RF, whatever you want to call it, and it is received by the radio receiver in your house. And that is called radiated signal. Like I said, the signal is radiated from the antenna and is received by your radio. That's how your radio works. And these alignment procedures, if you look at, here's a typical one, I'll flash that up. It tells you to connect the RF signal generator directly to the receiver, whether it be the antenna or you know, the mixer stage or wherever it says to connect it. And that's not how your radio works. Yes, that will get a really strong signal into the radio, but I think that, you know, besides the loading on the whatever stage it's coupled to, it's not how your radio is designed to work. I mean, if it was, we'd have long wires to the radio station, and we'd have cable for the radio. It basically is what we'd have. So, you know, okay, I know these procedures do work, the manufacturer procedure do work, and, you know, to me though, I'm thinking, why would you go through all this procedure to do something that your radio is really not happy with? So, if you think about it, you just like I said, you see that the radio is designed to get a radiated signal, and so if we instead substitute the radio transmitter at the radio station for our signal generator, as seen now, we can do the same exact thing that the radio station does. We can put up an antenna onto the signal generator and put it close enough to the radio to where it radiates that signal into the radio. And you can get a much easier alignment that way. I mean, it's just simple, very simple to do. Everybody that works on these radios has some AM radio loops around, and that's all you have to do is connect that to your signal generator output and put it, like I say, close to the radio somewhere. And really what you're wanting to do anyway is to start with a weak signal, and that's, you know, you can have that signal as weak as you want it just by, you know, cranking up or cranking down the signal level on the generator. And this, to me, is a much better way of doing it. You know, set it to, we're talking about IF frequencies here, so set it to the recommended for this particular one. We're using 455 kilohertz, and that will, you know, tune your radio to a clear spot on the band, something with not a lot of interference or not a lot of, there's no station coming in. And if you're like me, that's pretty much the whole band. But like I said, find one with it doesn't have a lot of noise on it, and it's fairly clear, and put that there, and tune your signal generator to the IF frequency, and set it just above to where you can get your meter on it, and it will register. If you're using a 2-volt scale like our 970 is going to be using, try to find one that's going to give you at least a half a volt of signal, and that way you have some going up and down. You need a little up and down space when you're adjusting the IF cans, and always start with the ones closest to the audio end of the circuit. You don't want to start with the mixer end, because it's just better practice to do that, because you can usually it'll tune in better that way. And like I said, it's much better to do that. So that goes back to your manufacturer's type thing. When you're basically restoring a radio or something like that, and you twiddled with the IFs and got them all out of whack, you're going to have to use the manufacturer's method of doing the alignment, because this method that I'm outlining is basically, all right, you just say you recapped the radio, it played before but it didn't really do very good, and you're just wanting to tune it up. So like I said, this is what this is for, and this is what the majority of radio alignments are done, how they're done, or what the reason they're done, I should say. And so basically what you want to do, like I said, is go about it this way, and then the radio will work fine, and it's working on the principle that it's designed for, the radiated signal, and it should tune in those just fine. Now again, this is just IF. This is a whole nother thing for RF, but like I said, it's the same procedure. You still use the same radiated signal, but like I said, this is just the IF we're talking about this time, and we may get into the other one later. But again, like I said, this is my way of doing it, and I'm not trying to step on anybody's toes or anything like that. And I just wanted to cover this because, to me, I think it's unnecessary, all the steps that people go through just to tune up a radio. It's not necessary. Now again, if it's way out of alignment and the radio doesn't work, well, yeah, use the manufacturer's method. That's fine. I mean, that's what it's designed for. And if you think about it, that's exactly what that is designed for. It's for a radio that came fresh from the factory. It's never been tuned, and that's how they tuned them. Okay, that's how they did it. And it will work, but it's far more work than necessary just to tune up a radio that plays. I mean, if you've got a radio that maybe gets pretty good stations, and it doesn't get all the good ones, but you know what I'm saying, it doesn't get some of the weak ones, things like, you just need a tune up. And especially if you recap or something like that, you really need to get in there and tune it up. But then there's times also that you shouldn't bother with this, and I'm going to flash up some pictures this time of that, and you can see there the when you should leave it alone is basically what these are, and it's just basically common sense, I guess, is more than anything. But there's just some ways that is better than others of doing radio alignments to me, and I can't see all the hoops that you have to jump through with the connecting capacitors here and putting it there. Like I said, it loads down the circuit that you're working on, and I just don't think you get as good as results with that procedure. So that's just my thoughts on this, and like I said, purely my thoughts. You may think I'm full of crap. I don't know. That's okay with me. I don't really care. I just, like I said, I'm trying to give you the benefit of my, I won't say expertise, but experience. How's that? On doing this, because it's just think about it. They didn't do this in the old days before they had RF generators and things like that. They just tuned in a weak station and basically did those by the same procedure by ear, and that's how they tuned them up. And that's basically the best way of doing it. It worked fine, because if you think about it, if they work good for that weak station, the strong ones are going booming in. So you don't have to worry about it. But again, at some time in the future, I'm going to look at some FM alignments. Again, there's so much misinformation out there on FM alignments. You have to have a what do you call it? A generator, sweep generator. I don't believe that. I don't have one, and I don't think that FM is that much more complicated than AM, really. Now there's some touchy adjustments you have to do with the detector, things like that, but still, unless it's a stereo receiver, then I just an old FM, AM, FM radio type. Then I don't use the same. I don't use a sweep generator because it's just, to me, way overly complicated, and just. Now, I'm not saying it doesn't work. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying it's not necessary. So, like I said, this is just my little mini rant, maybe. I don't know, whatever you want to call it. But this is just how I felt about it, and I just think that people are. Well, number one, people are alignment crazy for one thing. The first person I started watching when I got back into electronics was Jim Lindenaz, and he's one of them. He will align. I don't care what he's going to do to a radio. It doesn't matter if he just cleans the volume control. He's going to do an alignment on it because that's just the way he likes to do. That's what he likes to do. Well, that's okay, but it's not necessary, especially if that radio plays fine. And gets most of the stations that you want to listen to. That's the whole thing about it right there. If he gets what you want to listen to, what does it matter if it's aligned or not? If it sounds good and you're happy with it, that's really doesn't need alignment. But like I said, this is just for an easy way of doing it, and I just think it's the better way, because you don't have to. For one thing, this will work just about on any AM receiver. Again, this is not like a TRF or something like that, but any super heterodyne, it will work, and it's gonna work because there's no special equipment other than the signal generator. If you've got that, and you don't really have to have a signal generator, you can do it the old way. You just tune in a weak station and go from there. It's all depends on what you got at hand, and so anyway, that's just my thoughts on the. On alignment, and I think that will do me. You guys have a pleasant day. Thank you so much for watching, and we will see you.